Hello, today I'm going to do three videos. They should be pretty short. This first one, I want to explain a few things, and then the other two will take care of themselves. I want to back up just a little bit, and I found on my shelf some things I wanted to show you, kind of show and tell. When I was talking about law as genre, rules of behavior, I mentioned the Pennsylvania Crimes Code. Well, there's a copy of the Pennsylvania Crimes Code. As I suggested to you, a layman can actually read it if they use the index at the back. So not too hard to use. There it is, and you can own it. Hoyle, there's a copy of Hoyle's Official Rules for Card Games. Rather beat up copy. I suspect this might have been the one I gave my daughter. I have another copy since, but there it is. Lays out how you can have an awful lot of fun with cards, playing cards. Emily Post, this is the new Emily Post Etiquette, written by Elizabeth L. Post. Well, I wonder if that's her daughter. More probably likely it is. It's kind of fun to read these old ones. It's amazing how things have changed. But there it is, etiquette. Still probably known as the authority on etiquette. If it comes down to setting up a table for a formal dinner or something like that, it'll tell. And then here's a copy of Robert's Rules of Order. I had bought this once because I'd heard so much about it. I actually wanted to have my own copy of it. A little book. I think at the time I read through it. Running a meeting is actually quite complicated. And you know, if you went into politics, you'd have to learn all those rules. And for all I know, the United States government doesn't quite use, well, I'm pretty sure they don't quite use the original form. But there's the recognized authority. All right. Now, a couple other things to tell you. One, I'm sorry about the sound. If there were some way to fix this, I would fix it. I haven't figured out how to do it. It doesn't seem to be with my camera. It seems to be happening when the upload goes to YouTube. If any of you have suggestions, pass them on to me, please. It would be nice. But as I said before, it's the sounds that carry the meaning. Body language, visual language, obviously that carries a lot of meaning too, a lot of meaning. But if you just listened, you could get the core of my class here. On that idea that certain linguists can tell where you're from how you speak, two things I think I want to mention. One, I'd once read or heard that there's a list of 30 words that if a geographical linguist, that's what you call this kind, would have you speak those 30 words, even if he couldn't see you or just hear you on the phone, he could tell where you're from down to within about 6 miles, which sounds staggering. I think for some parts of the world that's not so easy. Out west in the United States, I don't think it's quite so easy, but along the east coast of the United States it's easy, and I think in England it's easy. And certainly in some of the cities, in New York City and in London, and related to that, later on, when we get to Greek mythology, I'll talk about Pygmalion, the Greek myth Pygmalion, and how Pygmalion was then made into My Fair Lady. I'll be repeating this later. But the principal character, one of the principal characters in it, is a guy named Professor Henry Higgins, who is a linguist, an amateur linguist who can do this. And he claims that he can tell where somebody is from in London within a few streets by listening to the way they talk. That's probably true. But even in general, 30 words. It gets more complicated if you've moved a lot. Your educational level affects it, whether you're a man or a woman probably affects it. Where your parents are from affects it, but it's interesting. And then finally, just to by way of getting caught up, on that German phoneme ch, as in ach. Well, ach is a way to say oh or ah in German. Ach, like Achtung, is a way to say attention. But anyway, ach. The sound that's ach. The sound occurs also in the composer's name, Bach. Bach. And, you know, a lot of times people feel weird saying that. They want to call him Bach. They probably do, I don't know. Or Bach. Well, I have a concert choir where at the moment we're not performing, but I have a concert choir that for 25 years has performed Baroque music. And we did, every so often, once every couple of years, we did a concert, completely Bach's music. And I called it Ach Bach, because that was kind of fun. Ach Bach. Related really to an episode of MASH, where Radar was being coached in how to impress girls. And when it came to Bach, he was what he knew about composers. He was told to say something about each one, you know. Mozart, or something like that. But anyway, Bach, the only thing he could say is, Bach. But I thought it would be so much better if he said, Ach, Bach. So anyway, I called the concert series that, and we went Ach, Bach, eins, that's the first one, Ach, Bach, zwei, Ach, Bach, drei. And when we got to Ach, Bach, acht, that's 8. Ach, Bach, acht. That was the name of one of our concerts. Probably locally, when people read the announcement in the paper, they probably pronounced it Atch, Batch, Atched, or something like that, or just blew it off and didn't even try. But for the fun of it, I wanted to put it there. All right, now what's going to happen here, and I better get on here. I'm going to speak to you in the next video in 6 different languages. Each spoken language, 6 points of evidence. Each spoken language sounds different because the phonemes are different. Well, I'm going to speak to you in 6 languages, some better than others. But anyway, you're going to hear French, Spanish, Portuguese, German, Latin, and Swedish spoken. My Swedish is almost non-existent, but I'll speak all the Swedish that I know. I don't know if a Swede would understand me. I honestly don't. Latin is basically pronounced the way Italian is pronounced, because there weren't tape recorders. We don't know exactly how it sounded. Portuguese I speak very well. The others, I survive. And in some cases I'm going to recite words to songs. Anyway, you're just going to get a whole bunch of foreign languages. I want you to try to guess which one is which, and they should all sound different. Very often I'll get students guessing every one of them right. You may do that. I'll give you hints as I go. My apologies to Frenchmen or Spaniards or Brazilians or Germans, and especially to Swedes, but by having my same voice, that doesn't change. So the thing that's changing is the phonemes, the sounds. So anyway, here it comes in the next video.